こんにちは、森田尚子です。この動画をご覧いただきありがとうございます。今回はヨーガセラピーについて、私のヨーガの師であるカウストゥバデシカチャー先生にお話をお伺いしました。まずはカウストゥバ先生についてご紹介します。カウストゥバデシカチャー、祖父は現代ヨーガの父と呼ばれるクリシュナマチャリア先生。父は世界的なヨーガの先生である TKB デシカチャー先生と、伝統的なヨーガの教えを受け継いでいます。13歳でヨーガの指導を始め、今では世界中で指導を行っています。私もカースパ先生から長年ヨガやインド哲学を学び続けています。ぜひ最後まで楽しんでご覧ください。
おやすてやくとわろ
マディアン
プラババテジャガタオレカタヌグラハヤ
ヤ
プラクシーナクレシャラシヴィシャマヴィシャダロネカバクトラストボギサラバギヤナプラソティ
プージャ
パリカラプリタイヤスヤネティアム
デ
サゴビャツシタビマラタノルヨガドヨガユクタハヨゲナチッタスヤパデナバチャムマラムシャリラスヤチャバイディアケナヨパカロタムプラバラムモニーナパタンジャリムプランジャリラナトスミबाहु पुरुषाकारं शङ्खचक्रासिधारिणं सहस्रशिरसं श्वेतं प्रणमामि पतञ्जलिं श्रीमते अनन्ताय नागराजाय नमो नमः Namaste. Namaste, Naoko. We have the same Yoda. Very good.
Today, I'd like to talk about yoga therapy,
Okay.
your yoga therapy course.
I feel that all yoga has some therapeutic value, whether we do in group or one-to-one. There is some therapeutic value for yoga because yoga is generally good for improvement of our health and well-being. But we all have different problems in our life. Sometimes the health problem is physical. Sometimes our health problem is psychological. Sometimes our health problem is spiritual. And they are all very different. Even if we have similar problems, we are all different in the body structure, in the way our emotions are, in the way our energy level is, etc. And so, in order to help a person come out of their problem, yoga has to be taught one-to-one for the best therapy. Just like when we go to doctor for healing, there is usually one doctor and one patient. because disease is very personal.
Mm.
So in the same way, when we need to apply yoga in a therapeutic context, it's very, very important that we apply that yoga one-to-one.
Mm.
So we take people one-to-one to understand their health problems, how they live in their personal life, what is their age, what is their energy level, what kind of job they do. And then we decide what practice will be helpful for their healing.
Mhm.
So this is what is the approach of yoga as therapy, and it's very effective.
Mm. We want to know how to observe.
So we generally use three different ways of observation. The first one is called darshana, where we observe them when we look at them. So when a person is coming,
Mhm.
we look at them, we look at their problem. So if they say, well, I have some neck problem, we look at their neck, we look at their neck, shoulders, the muscles, etc. If they say they have a back problem, we observe their back. We hear their voice. If they are having some voice problems, for example, we hear. So this is what we call darshana, which is direct perception. And even in the direct perception, we not only see them when they are sitting, but also when they lie down, when they stand, if things are changing, or we ask them to do some very simple asanas to see how their body moves, how their spine moves, how their breathing is in different positions. So all these are part of what we call darshana, the direct observation. Whatever we cannot identify by direct observation, we then go to the next step that is called sparshana, which is by touching, feeling. And in this topic, the most important sparshana is the diagnosis of the pulse. So we take the pulse of the person, both in the right hand and in the left hand, and try to understand more deeper aspects of the person's health problem. And many times people will think that, well, there is only one heart, so the pulse should be the same on the right side and the left side, but it is not true. The right hand pulse will sometimes give us indication of all the problems on the right side of the body. The left hand pulse will give us indication of the problems on the left side of the body. So through the pulse diagnosis, what we call nadi pariksha, we feel things. Because you can't see the pulse, but you have to feel it. So we need to go deeper into the feeling, and therefore we understand more subtle problems that the person may have.
Mhm.
And sometimes we combine this with our observation, because sometimes the pulse will show me that a person has breathing problems. Then I will pay attention to their breathing. I will look at how their breathing is moving. Sometimes the pulse may say that there is some neck problem. So I will observe the neck. So we have to combine the two, darshana and sparshana. And finally, also include a third aspect of observation, which is very important in my view, which is communication, what we call prashna, dialogue. So based on the pulse observation, or based on the observation of direct perception, we can ask further questions like, when did this problem start, or how do you sleep, what kind of food do you eat, is the pain in your back more in the morning or more in the evening? Because we cannot get all that information by looking at a person or taking the pulse. So we have to ask questions and have communication with the person so that we understand more deeper aspects of their life and how they live, because that could not only give us information about the cause of the problems, but it can also give us information of what can be the solution. So these are three modes we are using to observe and understand the person's problems more deeply. I have to say here, we do not make diagnosis in yoga therapy. That is the job of a doctor. We don't tell a person, oh, you have diabetes, or you have cancer, or you have this. This is not the job of a yoga therapist. That's the job of the doctor. Our role in observation is to understand how their body moves, how their energy moves, how their mental and emotional status is, what is their circumstances in life, what can we do to help their problem become better. That's why we are observing. We are not observing to diagnose. That's the job of doctor.
What is purpose? What is goal of yoga therapy?
I would say two important goals in yoga therapy. One is a short-term goal and one is a long-term goal. So in the short-term goal, our goal is to help people have less suffering. This is what we call as shamana, pacification of their suffering. So if somebody comes with a back pain, we try to reduce their back pain. If somebody comes with insomnia, we try to help them sleep better. This is the short term. In the long term, the goal is to identify what is the cause of that problem, why they got insomnia first, why they got the back pain. So then we look into the cause. And when we look into the cause, then our next goal is to remove that cause or neutralize that cause so that the problem does not come back again. In some cases, yoga therapy cannot cure the problem. So in those cases, the long-term goal is management of the illness. Like, for example, somebody comes with diabetes. Yoga maybe does not have the cure for diabetes, but it can help manage the sugar control to a certain depth. It cannot cure the cause of diabetes, because diabetes, the cause is coming from family sources, like inherited from family, and therefore it cannot remove the cause, but it can help manage the problem in a good way in the long term. So in some cases we can remove the cause, in some cases we cannot, we can manage. So these two are the main short-term and long-term goal of yoga therapy. But there is also one more important purpose in the long term. In yoga and Ayurveda, we very strongly believe that we are not healthy only when there is no disease. We also have to fulfill our spiritual purpose, what we call dharma. Take a plant, for example, mango tree. The mango tree can grow beautifully, and it can have beautiful leaves, beautiful trunk, beautiful branch. but you don't give mangoes, something is wrong. Even though there is no disease for the tree, but it's not fulfilling its potential of giving mangoes, something is wrong. In the same way, we are not considered fully healthy until we fulfill our potential, what we call dharma. The dharma is very individual to each of us. It is our life purpose. So, yoga therapy is also helping us in the long term to discover our dharma and express it in the best way. Then we are fully healed, because then we are able to express the reason why we are born. That is the ultimate healing. So that's the long-term goal of yoga therapy. The short-term goal, reduction of disease. The medium-term goal, the reduction of cause of the disease. The long-term goal, to help us express our dharma in the best way possible.